It might be all over, but we're still discussing E3 2018 here at MGL. The team have been talking, arguing, about the games and live streams from the console developers Xbox, PlayStation and Nintendo. Plus the developer showcases from EA Play, Bethesda, Square Enix and Ubisoft. After a lot of talking, no one got hurt. Honest, we have voted for our best E3 2018 games below. More E3 coverage on our hub here. This article is in showcase order, so enjoy a look at the best games of each showcase awarded down the page. Then a final section revealing the overall best game of E3 for the MGL team. As a bonus, you will also find the best showcase award at the end too. Before we answer, get ready to comment. Who had the best showcase at E3 for you? Was it Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, or one of the developers? Get in the comments and let us know. More on E3 2018 is in our hub here, including a look at some of the games in more detail. Since they started to run these events separately from the main E3 show, the EA Play has not really been anything special. This year was a slight improvement thanks to a couple of impressive-looking games. But overall it was largely underwhelming. EA's biggest issue with these events is there is not much in the way of surprises. We know that we're going to see the latest EA Sports titles here and some already confirmed games. Sure enough, FIFA looks nice. Madden 2 Plus they are taking the much improved NBA Live review of 2018 to the next step too. They did throw in Unravel 2 as their out now release, which was one thing that stands out. And there was a slightly awkward conversation about another new Star Wars title that wasn't really anything to note. The big games though came to save the show from being a bad show. The best game from EA at E3 2018. What was the best EA had to show in the end? Battlefield V was certainly a decent showing, but, so far, we've not quite seen enough of the game in action to win. Unravel 2 was a good surprise and Sea of Solitude went down well with the team. But in the end, only one game could win. The headline title, Anthem by BioWare, looked incredible and we can't wait to play it. The developers are promising a healthy mix of shared, co-op world with single-player storytelling. While there is mixed response generally, the majority of the team here are pre-ordering already. Even now this show stands out as something a bit special. Report here. Looking at the team notes as I write this article, there is so much to talk about. Before the show, I was actually hoping Microsoft toned down the numbers and show more high-quality clips. But they ignored that and instead went for big numbers and brought the quality too. Huge games like Halo Infinite, Gears 5 and Cyberpunk 2077 were all at the show. But then there was also Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice announced by From Software and Dying Light 2 confirmed by Techland. Not mentioning Just Cause 4, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, New Forza and Devil May Cry 5. Like I said, what a show and what quality games there. Maybe the impact here was more on the third-party titles than the first. But with Xbox gaining a number of studios, including Hellblade developer, Ninja Theory, this is only going to get better. The best game from Xbox at E3 2018. There were so many, this was a tricky choice. Dying Light is a much-loved game here at MGL, so a sequel was amazing to see. Plus, DMC5 was a big one for us too. Gears 5 was closest to the top without winning, as the story of Kate looked one we'd love to experience. But Xbox saved the best till last. The hack from CD Projekt Red was a really cool moment, and everything about that Cyberpunk 2077 trailer was what it needed to be. A worthy winner. Often, we wonder if Bethesda has quite enough to put on such a big show each year. But so far they are doing a great job. I do wish they would move it maybe an hour earlier next time for us in the UK watching it after 2:30 AM on a work night though, but we were not disappointed as the solid show showed more of Rage 2 and how the ID team were working closely with Avalanche Studios for the open world element to the game. The band was a bit much in the early hours, but I'm sure it went down well at the venue. Rage 2 itself looks like a whole lot of fun and one we can't wait for. Well, the middle section dragged a little, but we loved the Skyrim Very Special Edition video, a very funny video that not every developer would even consider making. In the end, we got the big games with Fallout 76 looking great, and we set 2 teasers for Starfield and the big one, The Elder Scrolls 6. Not a bad show overall. The best game from Bethesda at E3 2018, Doom, was a big one for us, but it was only a teaser. You can also say that for The Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield at this year's show. Bethesda tends to focus on the games for the upcoming months, maybe a year. So, with Rage 2 and Fallout 76 being the big ones, it came down to 1v1. While it was close, it had to be Fallout 76 to take the win. This one was a little bit short and not quite what people were expecting. There was no mention of the Final Fantasy VII remake people were excited for. And the whole thing didn't really go anywhere, then it was suddenly all over. Basically, the Square Enix conference was a lot like a gamer's sex life. But, having said that, they showed off some cool games. We got more Kingdom Hearts 3, a game that was at the Xbox and PlayStation conferences too. Plus new games, Babylon's Fall and A Quiet Man were shown off. The former is a Platinum Games collaboration and the latter a mix of live action and game engine combat of a deaf person kicking ass. The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit was also here again after being revealed at the Xbox show. Once again it looks captivating, plus it's free and out now. But the show had 3 big games we had to pick our winner from. The best game from Square Enix at E3 2018, we are all a bit pumped for the return of Rico Rodriguez in Just Cause 4. The gameplay looks as crazy as ever, but it looks like the engine has had a big step forward from 3. Dragon Quest XI was also a big game confirmed. But it was a lady who stole all our hearts, and she's been doing that for a long time now. The latest from Lara in Shadow of the Tomb Raider looks incredible and is a big winner for Square this year. Oh, Ubisoft, they are both predictable and lovable at the same time. This year we got the usual dancing and plenty of showmanship generally, with some rather impressive looking game clips. Let's hope they have learned their lessons when it comes to scaling down the quality this year. The Division 2 was all over the Xbox conference. It was mentioned earlier how epic the whole thing was, but it was back with an overview on the story. It all looks like more of the same, but with lessons learned from the original and some tweaks. Skull and Bones was looking cool with all the good elements of a sea ship combat going on. Plus the big 2 were there in Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Beyond Good and Evil 2, although we were a little surprised no new Splinter Cell was confirmed. The best game from Ubisoft at E3 2018, Ubisoft has a great ability to divide opinion, even within our team. All of us had similar games on our list, but they were all in different orders. The Division 2 scored well overall, as did Skull and Bones for us pirate lovers. But it came down to 2, and while Beyond Good and Evil 2 looks great, perhaps there wasn't enough of the game shown to beat our winner. Assassin's Creed Odyssey looked stunning and takes the change in the engine seen in Origins to new heights with a more RPG focus. We can't wait until October. After some very strong E3 showings this generation, PlayStation came out with something a bit different. They tried to manage expectations before the show that it was mainly about 4 big titles. This was Spider-Man, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2. The whole setup of the show in a small church structure was a bit strange, but it was The Last of Us Part 2 that had the answer. Those in attendance were literally sat in a replica from the game as Ellie took to the screen. TLOU Part 2 is looking ultra polished and the gameplay played almost for 10 minutes. An intermission with a few trailers followed as the guests moved to the main show through a walkway inspired by the games. While they seemed to report on it being cool, it just didn't have the flow for anyone streaming. This made it all very disjointed and hard to watch. But then we saw the mind-blowing La Beautiful Ghost of Tsushima and then some nice footage of Resident Evil 2 remade. Death Stranding kind of made a little more sense in that it is a game with walking in the hills. The Spider-Man came with some serious villains involved. But what was our favorite? The best game from PlayStation at E3 2018. While the show itself was disjointed, it did have some great games. Plus, we saw them all for longer than a standard trailer, which was something a bit different. Of those, the obvious standout to the team with The Last of Us Part 2 doing well but not quite getting to the top. In fact, the impressive Ghost of Tsushima was very popular with some of the team and came close. But our web-slinging hero Spider-Man is looking so impressive throughout the show. It was our winner for PlayStation this year. Nintendo, unfortunately, not only played last, they had the last-placed conference for us at MGL. There wasn't too much going on at the show overall, as a lot of the focus was on Smash Bros. Ultimate. We did get to see Fire Emblem Three Houses revealed and looked interesting. Plus, we saw Fortnite confirmed on the Switch, which is already proving popular. Mario Tennis Aces was also there, and we have a new Mario Party to look forward to. But it was more in what wasn't there that was surprising. Nothing on the Yoshi game scheduled for this year. No Bayonetta 3 trailer, and one of our team was hoping, like many others, for Animal Crossing coming to the Switch. But no. What there was time for though, was Smash Bros. And look at every fighter. The best game from Nintendo at E3 2018, Mario Party, was pretty popular with the team, and we also liked the look of the new Fire Emblem. But even this was really focusing on one game, and in fairness to Nintendo, it looks a lot of fun. Our winner here is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now let's talk about the combos each fighter can do and what buttons to press, shall we? Or maybe just an award stamp will do. It was a very good E3 2018 with some top games on show, and, most importantly, games on all formats looked great. That being said, we have to say there were some good shows and some not so good ones. Games this year were the big winners, with so many looking really impressive. This generation certainly has more to come in the next year or two, that's for sure. Other than us gamers who won with every new trailer that looked amazing. Which game in Showcase was our favorite overall? The best game of E3 2018. This was a tough one. Every showcase had some top games. One that kept coming up, again and again, was Spider-Man, since it just looks so fun. With Insomniac behind it, we know it's going to be amazing, though so rightly it places as our bronze winner. Close but not quite top was a rather controversial choice perhaps. But we are all over BioWare's latest title. Anthem looks incredible, flying around like Iron Man, shooting things with RPG elements, storytelling and co-op all sounds good to us. But the winner for Best Game and Best Moment of E3 can only go to this amazing-looking title. From the moment the stage was thrust into darkness and the hack began, we were all very excited for what was to come. Cyberpunk 2077 has to be our winner of the MGL Best E3 Game 2018, like the winner. Click to tweet out this here. The best showcase of E3 2018. We've had a look at the shows this year and all of them had great games to show. But there can only be one winner. We loved some titles from Bethesda who came close to winning. Despite the disjointed nature of the showcase, PlayStation had some incredible game demos. But the one with the biggest point to make this E3. The console developer that needed a good E3 had its best to date. Xbox had one of the best shows at an E3, was amazing game after amazing game. And we even think they held a few titles back Fable for other conferences coming up. What a show! Fill in the Xbox team, a deserved winner of MGL Best E3 Showcase 2018. Over to you. Of course you 100% agree, right? These were just what you would have picked. If you are shouting at the screen that we got it wrong, or on the off chance you do agree, let us know your best E3 game in the comments below. Pick for the best game if Cyberpunk 2077 didn't do it for you. Maybe it was Anthem or Devil May Cry 5. We won't know if you don't say. More E3 best of articles to come. Make sure you've bookmarked MGL for more gaming coverage. Games. We'll only use it for statistics. Except read more.